Welcome to the blessing ceremony of the Great Buddha Hall of Quang Minh Temple. We respectfully acknowledge the traditional owners of this land on which we meet today, the Wurundjeri people, past and present, and share the merits of this meeting with them wherever they may be. His Holiness, Venerable Sangha, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mei Lê Nguyen, an executive board member of Quang Minh Temple, have the privilege to be in the master ceremony for today's event. The first visit of His Holiness the Dalai Lama to Quang Minh Temple in 1996 was a joyful occasion for Buddhists of all traditions in Victoria. Once again, today, it is a great honor for the Quang Minh Temple to host His Holiness' return visit, and delighted to have the opportunity to listen to his wisdom, spiritual guidance, and have his blessings to this new grand hall. As the Great Buddha Hall construction began in April 2006 and will be completed in few months' time, the aim of this building to provide a spiritual center to encourage people to live in peace and harmony, and offer to the public a community services center that providing essential cultural, social, and educational services to the community at large. We pay respect and thank His Holiness for the blessing, and also we are blessed for your presence. The blessing ceremony had begun with the feature ceremony chanting in Tibetan and Vietnamese, as you yet witnessed. And now, we haven't got much time. Your Holiness, we are honored, privileged, and thank you for your gracious presence and your blessing. So every year, you receive thousands of invitations to speak from all over the world, and you only satisfy a small numbers of requests. Therefore, we are fortunate to be among the privileged. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming His Holiness the Dalai Lama.
My dog. Okay. Dear spiritual brothers and sisters, particularly the Vietnamese Sanghas, and I think some nuns here. I think Bhikshuni. I think some Bhikshunis. So, I'm extremely happy the second time I visit here with new big temple. How much cost?
12 million.
12 million. Certainly, the Buddhism is one of the, I think, ancient, important religious tradition. Actually, Buddhism belongs to Asia, India, then eventually Sri Lanka, Burma, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, and then it's China, through China, Vietnam, Korea, Japan, and then later Tibet, and then Mongolia, and some part of Russian Federation. So these areas generally, they say, follow Buddhism. Of course, India, the original home of Buddha Dharma, but India, the majority of the people are mainly Hindu and also large number of Muslim and Christians and some other followers. But in any way, now we are in the 21st century. Or do you need Vietnamese translation or no need?
We will do it after.
After, okay. So we are in the 21st century. The science and technology highly developed. I think the last 1 or 2 centuries, I think everybody, all their energy, all their mind focusing about economy development, about money. Even now, I think we really reach such an extent in order to acquire money, all sorts of methods, corruptions, and all sorts of dirty tricks in order to gain some money, isn't it? I think money really, I believe, spoil our moral principle. I really feel like that. And in the meantime, not only moral principle damage, but also, you see, money develop jealousy, suspicion, and then also frustration. That transform, the anger, violence. So in any way, one thing very clear, material value alone will not bring inner peace. That is certain. Because money brings facility for our physical comfort, not mind. In a supermarket, if you try to find to buy peace of mind, impossible. Or most sophisticated sort of factory, if you ask them, oh, please give me one instrument which brings peace of mind. No. Peace of mind must come through within. Because the major sort of, disturbances about our inner peace is our emotion. Not external enemy, not external sort of troublemaker, but the real sort of destroyer of our peace of mind is our own destructive emotion. So naturally, logically, the real effective method to reduce this destructive emotion must develop within mind, within emotion themselves, itself. So, now today, I often is telling people, last few thousand years, I think for 5,000 years, we developed faith. And then we put all our hope on faith. Whenever we find some difficulties, pray to God or to something, some mysterious thing. Then last 200 to 300 years, science, technology eventually developed. So science, technology immediately brought what we want: good health, good facility, and everything became more easier. So then people naturally pay more attention about science and technology rather than faith. Then later part of 20th century, through our own experience, eventually we realize there is limitation about material value. I know some very rich family, I think a billionaire, but as a person, human level, very unhappy person. So there are millions of dollars fail bring inner peace. Very clear. And then another thing, among the scientists, their knowledge about brain, about neurons, these things highly developed. Then they eventually, they also showing interest about what's emotion, what's mind. Because medical science, now they already notice peace of mind, very important factor for good health, and also recover from illness or surgery, peace of mind, relaxed mind, very important for that. So therefore, now medical science and also the specialists about brain, some scientists, top scientists, now really showing interest. What's emotion? What's relation, emotion and brain? And now these days, among the scientists, now they found through training of mind, because of brain plus security, what do you call it? Plasticity. Oh, that one. I don't know is that word. But it is some chemical in brain. You see, through training of mind, actually can change. This is first sort of finding, first time. So that shows, you see, through training of mind, even physical part can change. So therefore, I think two factors from the sort of experience, the limitation, or because of the limitation of material value. And then on the other hand, scientific sort of research now begin to focusing what's mind, how to change our mind, how to change our emotion. So, because of these sort of factors, there are indications, particularly among the younger people, who begin to develop some interest about inner value and spirituality. So that's overall, I think, this sort of picture of the world in the 21st century. And then also, I think the people everywhere, particularly in Europe, in America, I think are really fed up about violence. I think Australia, comparatively, may be better. So when people, I think in 20th century, in early part of 20th century, when nation declare war on neighbor, the whole citizen of the country proudly, without slightest question, joining war effort. Now that kind of situation completely changed later part of 20th century and beginning of this 21st century. For example, when America about to start war on Iraq, how many people from Australia up to the United States, you see, they oppose violence and want peace. So through demonstrations. So, and also Kosovo War. I think, concerned people, concerned nation, they really oppose using violence, using force. So there are, I think, real sort of desire to about peace. Totally sort of fed up violence. So therefore, now again the question is how to bring peace. Peace does not mean no longer any problem. So long we human beings remain on this planet, some problem bound to happen because of human vision, human greed, human desire. So therefore, problem will remain. Now we need the realistic method to solve this sort of conflict or disagreement. So that's a dialogue. Now, in what I often used to telling people, 20th century becomes century of bloodshed. According to some historian, about 200 millions of people killed through violence, through war. So greatest number of killing through war, I think, in 20th century. If this immense war, including use nuclear weapon, if really brought some sort of real peace or much sort of the problem reduced, then okay, there could be some legitimacy. But that's not the case. Only suffering and damage. So therefore, now this 21st century, we should build century of dialogue. So in order to carry dialogue, we need spirit of respect others' right. Not just think my interest, our interest, and indifferent others of interest. And then how can develop dialogue? So, on that respect, I think a genuine spirit of sense of brotherhood, sisterhood, entire nearly 7 billion human beings consider as a human brothers, sisters, we must take care about their interest. With that kind of sort of attitude, then real meaningful dialogue can develop. So, in that respect, I think various different religious traditions have immense potential to bring genuine sense of brotherhood, sisterhood. So all major religious traditions have the same potential. Different philosophy. The theistic religion, their main sort of faith is God, Creator. The non-theistic religion, such as Jainism and Buddhism and some other ancient Indian tradition, no concept of God, no Creator, but ourselves as a Creator. So philosophical field, big differences. So I think from the theistic religious viewpoint, we Buddhists are non-believer. What's Kasa? Translation. I mean, too long. Too long. Kasa. Kasa. Then okay, I can translate. Then okay. So all religions, you see, inspired different philosophy, but all carry same teaching. Practice teaching of love, compassion, forgiveness, tolerance, self-discipline. All these same practice, same sort of message. So all major religious traditions have same potential to help humanity.
Chúng tôi xin tạm dịch cho tất cả quý vị nghe ha. Đức Đạt Lai Lama đã chào mừng đến Quang Minh đến chùa Quang Minh và rất là vui mừng được trở lại lần thứ hai. Thì Ngài đã nói về Phật giáo nguyên thủy từ Ấn Độ đã lan truyền từ các nước Á Châu như Miến Điện, Thái Lan, Trung Quốc, Nhật Bản, Việt Nam và bây giờ gần như là hiện diện trên toàn thế giới. Và bây giờ trong thiên niên kỷ mới, khoa học điện tử càng ngày càng tiến bộ và từ đó vấn đề tiền bạc, vật chất trở thành một cái nhu cầu thiết yếu. Và đó là một cái điểm mà làm cho con người của chúng ta cấu xé lẫn nhau, ganh ghét, tham nhũng và tạo cái điều bất chính. Như chính chúng ta đã thấy, như Ngài vừa mới trình bày, như chúng ta đi siêu thị, chúng ta mua hàng hóa nhưng mà chúng ta không mua được cái tâm an lạc. Tại vì tâm an lạc không mua được, không ai bán cho chúng ta. Tâm an lạc phải được chúng ta hung dưỡng. Và ngày hôm nay Ngài cũng muốn nhắc nhở lại cho chúng ta những cái gì mà chúng ta đã đánh mất từ mấy năm qua về những cái tiến bộ của khoa học kỹ thuật. Bởi vì ngày nay khoa học kỹ thuật càng tiến bộ thì gia đình càng sống không hạnh phúc. Những cái gia đình triệu phú, tỷ phú tuy rằng là họ rất là nhiều tiền lắm bạc nhưng mà vẫn không có hạnh phúc và tâm không có an lạc. Cho nên ngày hôm nay Ngài muốn nhắc nhở lại chúng ta về cái sự huấn dưỡng của tâm an lạc. Ngài giải thích về cái sự quân bình trong đầu óc của con người của chúng ta. Sự bình quân trong đầu óc sẽ đem lại cho chúng ta sự an lạc. Và đó cũng là một cái kết quả của những nhà nghiên cứu gia. Ngài còn nhắc nhở đến cho chúng ta trong những cuộc sống từ chiến tranh, từ những thiên tai đã vượt qua. Hòa bình, an lạc là những điều mà chúng ta cần phải vươn đến. Như lịch sử đã cho chúng ta thấy hàng triệu người chết vì chiến tranh, thiên tai. Cho nên bước vào cái niên kỷ mới, an lạc cần phải được huấn dưỡng nhiều hơn nữa. Và tôn giáo là một cái vấn đề cần phải được kiên trì. Thank you, His Holiness. You can continue. Thank you.
So now, so still continue. Oh, please sit there and make note. Sit there. So now, about Buddhism. Oh, that's good, very good. So Buddhism, nowadays, I think, as I mentioned earlier, Buddhism also, they carried those sort of practice, love, compassion, forgiveness, these things, as like any other major tradition. Then the philosophical aspect is rather sort of very sophisticated. So ancient time in India, like Nalanda sort of monastic institution, university, Nalanda University, I think not only just a religious sort of center, but academic center. And many of those Nalanda masters, I usually describe professors of Nalanda. So these masters, professors of Nalanda, they are writing actually academic subject. They carry investigation. What's the reality? What's the nature? Nature of matters, nature of mind. So that part I consider science. Not religion, but science. So now, the last several years, I had sort of serious sort of engagement with modern scientists. Further research about mind, about emotion, how to tackle these emotions. So now scientists, for example, in America, Wisconsin University, Emory University, and Stanford University, and a few more universities, they actually carrying research work about mind. according to Buddhist explanation about mind. So they found very useful information from ancient Indian sort of treasure, not only Buddhism, but also Hinduism. So therefore, some people who usually remain distant from any religion, but in their eye, now Buddhism is something exceptional, because they not necessarily sort of attraction towards the Buddhist concept about next life or these things, but simply Buddhist science about mind, about emotion. So it is quite clear, according to last 30 years, my experience, now it quite clear the Buddhist science certainly can make significant contribution in modern science regarding emotion or mind, these things. So now Vietnamese, traditionally Buddhist country, and within Buddhist tradition, Pali tradition, Sanskrit tradition, two traditions, we both follow of Sanskrit tradition. We all follow of Nalanda institution, Nalanda scholars, like Lungsu Pusa, you know, Nagarjuna, Lungsu Pusa, Arya Asanga, all these Nalanda masters, Nalanda professors. You see, we both follow their teaching like that. And another aspect, you Vietnamese also passing through difficult period. We too. In that sense, we are truly brothers, sisters. But time change. I notice is quite a number of Vietnamese from Vietnam itself now coming to India and receiving some sort of teaching like that. So it seems some now change, and including some member of Vietnamese Communist Party leaders or family member, some coming there. So things are changing. So in any way, those Vietnamese who live in free countries like France, in America, and also Australia, wherever you live, you carry your tradition, your the spirituality. So therefore, in Australia, basically a non-Buddhist country, Judo-Christian background sort of tradition, but you find a place to establish your own temple in order to keep your own Buddhist spirituality. So I very much appreciate. Now your turn. Translate.
Kính thưa quý vị, Ngài đã nhắc đến những cái học giả của các trường đại học và những cái nghiên cứu của các nhà học giả trên thế giới đã cho biết rằng là cái sự an lạc rất là đã được thực hiện và đã được nghiên cứu và đã được chứng minh cho thấy rằng là khoa học, y tế và đạo Phật của chúng ta đã gắn liền với nhau rất là nhiều. Ngài đã nhắc nhở đến trong những năm gần đây những cái nghiên cứu về giáo xúc cảm của con người đã được thực hiện, và những cái kết quả mà của những nhà nghiên cứu đưa ra đều có những cái liên hệ mật thiết đến Phật giáo của chúng ta, nhất là hướng dẫn về cho tâm an lạc và tâm quân bình. Thì một điều mà chắc chắn Ngài thấy rằng, Ngài cho chúng ta biết rằng là khoa học và Phật giáo đã gắn liền với nhau và có những kết quả rất là nhiều giống nhau. Những cái nghiên cứu, những nhà nghiên cứu đã dùng những lời thuyết giảng của Đức Phật để mà đưa vào những cái kết luận của mình, thành ra cho đó Ngài có thể hướng dẫn cho chúng ta thấy rằng là tâm an lạc trong cuộc sống của chúng ta là cái điều thiết yếu. Và vừa rồi Ngài cũng rất là vui mừng và đã cảm kích đối với cộng đồng Phật tử Việt Nam của chúng ta ở Việt Nam cũng như là trên toàn khắp nơi, tại Úc, tại Pháp, tại các nơi đã thành công rất là mỹ mãn, và Ngài thấy đó là rất là vui mừng, và Ngài chúc mừng đến tất cả các chúng ta đã ổn định cuộc sống và đã tu tập noi theo gương của Đức Phật từ bi.
One minor differences. Vietnamese, a very hot country, but you wear sleeves already. Sleeve. We very cold country, Tibet, but without that sleeve. So now, whenever I met some Buddhist, whether Chinese Buddhist, Japanese Buddhist, or Korean, Vietnamese, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Burma, and Tibetan, Mongolian, I always stress that we Buddhists now should be 21st century Buddhist. That means the Buddhists with fuller knowledge about Buddha Dharma. That's very essential. Traditionally, we simply, claim oneself as a Buddhist, but actually not knowing what is Buddhism. I often teasing our Chinese Buddhist, it is not not sufficient just say Amitov, Amitov. And Tibetan, I usually teasing them, recite the one famous mantra of Kuan Yin, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. So that when you little bit hurry, then Om Mani, Mani. That sounds looks like money, that. So therefore, you see, without knowing what's the meaning. And quite often, when I met some, Indian Buddhist or Tibetan Buddhist, students, when I ask them, what is your religion? They say Buddhism, Buddhist. Then I ask, what's Buddha? No answer. Do not know. Buddha considered just one historical figure. That's not sufficient. We must know what is real Buddhism. And also Christian. You should know the real teaching of Jesus Christ. Just as a claim as a Christian and do that is not sufficient. Since Buddha Dharma, as I mentioned earlier, quite sophisticated philosophy, we must study these things. First, Buddhist science. On the basis of Buddhist science, then Buddhist philosophy developed. Like true truth, or subtle way of impermanence and interdependency. These philosophical views develop on the basis of the reality. That's Buddhist science. Then there is possibility to change our mind. There is possibility to reduce destructive emotion. And finally, there is possibility to eliminate completely about destructive emotion. That is nirvana, moksha, salvation. So on the basis of science, Buddhist philosophy, Buddhist concept develop. Then, according to Buddhist concept, then practice start. So, genuine Buddhist should know Buddhist philosophy, Buddhist science. Otherwise, they practice for one's religion, one's own religion, just like fashion, just like habit. Not much meaning. So therefore, please, my Buddhist brothers, sisters, please study more and visit temple and in front of Buddha and recite some sort of prayer is not sufficient. We must study what's real Buddhist teaching. And the essence of Buddha's teaching really elaborated by like Nagarjuna, Arya Asanga, Vasubandh, all these great Nalanda master. They really explain thoroughly. And if possible, the Buddhist epistemology, Buddhist logic. Again, Nalanda master, Dignak, Dharmakirti, Chandarakshita, Kamalashila. In Tibetan, these texts about Buddhist epistemology available. I was told in Chinese language, not available, not translated. Some portion, otherwise not translated. Now, already you see some work, some project, translation. Already we started. So eventually, these sort of Buddhist epistemologies or text will be available in Chinese language. And then eventually, it's very easy to translate Vietnamese and Korean and Japanese. Clear? So, please pay more attention for study. Then the faith based on fuller knowledge about Buddhism, that faith is much sounder. That's important. Thank you. So that's all. So I hope you see later this hall, not only prayer hall, but class for study. I hope. So maybe next time coming here, I also see Kazuta participate in your class. Thank you.
Kính thưa quý vị, Đức Đạt Lai Lama đã nhắc nhở đến chúng ta phải huấn dưỡng tâm đại bi, phát triển đại xả và nhận diện cái đau khổ để dẹp bỏ những cái phiền não vọng tâm của mình. Hành giả khi mà tu tập không chỉ tu thiền mà cần phải dẹp bỏ những cái vọng não để mà cho trí tuệ của chúng ta được phát triển. Và Ngài cũng nhắc đến cái tôi của mình, tại vì cái tôi nó không nằm ngoài cái uẩn, tức là cái hợp thể của thân và tâm. Thì uẩn thì vô thường, còn cái tôi thì được xem là giống như độc nhất vô thường. Thành ra Ngài lưu ý chúng ta cần nên kiên trì và cần nên nhớ là trở về chính tâm để những cái hình tướng tư vọng của sắc, của màu của chúng ta được an lành. Và khi mà chúng ta tâm chứng thì chúng ta mới thoát ra được khỏi những cái ràng buộc của cõi thường. Và Ngài một lần nữa nhắc nhở chúng ta nên cố gắng kiên trì tu luyện. Thì đó là cái vấn đề mà bữa nay những cái bài giảng của Ngài. Your Holiness, thank you very much for a wonderful, warm and compassionate speech. It means so much for too many of us here today. Your teaching has touched many human hearts, and we will continue practice the loving compassion, think of others, help them as much as we can, and resolve happiness. We pray for your healthy life, your safety, and wish you enjoy its present moment with us. Thank you. Now please stand for the departure of His Holiness the Dalai Lama.